The iPhone has long been blamed to have overly large bezels around the screen, especially the top and bottom. And while such kind of styling goes well with the smaller 4.7-inch model, it makes the 5.5-inch iPhone 7 Plus a true behemoth. LG believes to have fixed this problem. Its new G6, a smartphone with a generous 5.7-inch display, fits in a body considerably smaller than that of the 7 Plus. Both handsets have great screens, large, sharp, with good colors. That's all we can say from first glance, but what's more interesting in the context of this comparison is what's going on around the screens. Despite the extremely narrow bezels, the LG G6's styling just doesn't impress. It's solid, almost chunky, and lacks charm. It's true that the 7 Plus is both larger and has a smaller screen than the G6, but you can sense it has class. The symmetry, the precisely rounded corners, the elegant profile, all of that makes the iPhone 7 Plus a device worth looking at. If we leave the aesthetics aside and talk about practicality, that's a whole different conversation. The G6 is way narrower and shorter than the 7 Plus, making it much more comfortable to hold and operate. The 7 Plus remains an oversized device that's rather unwieldy, not to mention incredibly slippery in the hand if you have an iPhone with a matte finish. The LG G6 comes with the quad-core Snapdragon 821 processor, which is still on top of its game. The iPhone 7 Plus, however, comes with the quad-core A10 Fusion chipset, which, coupled with the iOS 10 system, delivers unprecedented performance. Both the LG G6 and iPhone 7 Plus come with two rear cameras, but they use them in radically different ways. The second camera on the G6 has a wide-angle lens, and it's used for capturing wide, expanding scenes. Think of it as some sort of a zoom-out function. In contrast, the 7 Plus uses its second camera in exactly the opposite way, allowing you to zoom in on whatever you're photographing. Whichever is better will depend on how you plan to use the camera on your phone, but the zoom-in portrait function of the iPhone 7 Plus seems to make more sense for most mainstream use cases. Saying the LG G6 represents the future of smartphone design would obviously be a stretch, even if most future flagship models end up featuring similarly slim bezels. The G6's implementation somehow isn't convincing enough to make us excited about bezel-less. One thing is clear though, the G6 is the smartphone the G5 should have been. If we single out the iPhone 7 Plus as a major competitor to the G6, it's clear the G6 doesn't have enough going for it to pull ahead. Don't get us wrong, the G6 is not a bad phone. It's actually a great phone overall. It's just that we expected the future, and what we got instead was more of the same.